Hey there, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the hidden machinery of the financial world. If you've ever wanted to truly understand the invisible gears that keep our modern economy spinning, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the massive, complex systems of modern banking and see what happens when they collide with the cutting-edge future of technology.
Let's kick things off with the reality we literally all face every single day. Why do prices go up? I really want you to consider the real-world forces that dictate why your everyday expenses, from your morning cup of coffee to your monthly rent, just keep getting more expensive. It's not magic, and it's certainly not random. There is a deeply structured mechanical process happening right under our noses.
And that leads us to an even bigger question. How do banks actually influence almost every business and household on the planet? It's time to challenge some of those long-held assumptions about who is actually pulling the levers behind these massive economic shifts. You might think you've got a tight grip on your personal finances, but your money actually exists within this massive, totally interconnected ecosystem.
To understand that ecosystem, here is our roadmap for today. First, the banking system explained. Second, controlling the economy. Third, how money is created. And finally, AI in modern banking. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The banking system explained. The captains and the crews. To really get banking, we first need to look at its fundamental two-part structure.
So, the entire banking system is basically split into two main roles. Over on the left, we've got the central bank. Think of them as the captain of the ship. This is the country's main bank, like the State Bank of Pakistan, for instance. The captain's job is to manage the country's entire money supply and keep everything financially stable. Then on the right, you've got commercial banks. They're the crew. This is where you and I actually interact. They work directly with the public and with businesses to handle your savings, give out loans, and process salaries. The captain steers the massive ship, but the crew is what actually gets the ship moving through the water.
Moving on to Section 2, controlling the economy, the levers of power. Now that we know who's on the ship, let's look at the actual levers they use to steer it.
The sheer power of cause and effect here is absolutely fascinating. Banks primarily influence the economy through lending. It's a chain reaction. Step 1, banks hand out more loans. Just picture a young family finally getting a mortgage, or a local bakery securing the cash to open up a second spot. When banks open that tap and approve loans, we hit Step 2. Businesses invest that new capital and they hire more workers, which naturally leads to Step 3. Those new workers now have salaries in their pockets, so people spend more money. And the final result? Step 4. The economy grows faster. It's this perfect engine of momentum. But, like any engine, it can run way too hot.
And that brings us face to face with the villain of our story: inflation. Simply put, inflation is a rapid rise in prices caused by way too much money entering the economy. When that economic engine is running so fast that cash is literally flooding the system, demand totally outpaces supply. And when that happens, the price of everything simply goes up.
So what's our captain, the central bank, going to do to fight this villain? They reach for their biggest, most primary weapon, interest rates. Let's walk through exactly how this works. Step 1. The central bank increases interest rates. That immediately triggers Step 2. Loans become much more expensive for everybody. And because money suddenly costs an arm and a leg to borrow, we hit Step 3. Borrowing drops. Families hold off on big mortgages, and businesses put a pin in their expansions. Finally, Step 4. Because spending decreases, inflation slows down. The captain has effectively pulled the brake lever, and the economic ship decelerates.
But hey, what happens when the economy just stalls out? Well, the whole thing builds in reverse. During an economic slowdown, the central bank treats rates like a gas pedal. Step 1, rates drop. Step 2, that instantly creates cheaper borrowing. Step 3, because money is suddenly cheap to get, there's a massive surge in spending and investment. And Step 4, boom, we are right back to economic growth. This seesaw of interest rates is hands down one of the single most powerful tools used to shape a country's economic reality.
All right, Section 3, how money is created, the illusion of the vault. Get ready, because we're about to look past the bank vault into a truly mind-bending truth about modern finance.
Okay, so there is this massive myth in finance, that banks only lend out money that's been deposited by other customers. Most of us probably picture a bank taking your deposit, locking it away in a super secure vault, and then physically handing that exact same stack of bills over to someone else for a loan. But the reality is actually very different. The fact is, modern banks effectively create brand new money within the financial system the second they approve a loan. They aren't just shuffling old money around. Approving a loan is literally the spark that introduces brand new capital into the system.
Let's anchor this with a really specific example. Say a $100,000 business loan. If a business applies for that loan and the commercial bank approves it, the bankers don't go to a back room and scrape together $100,000 of other people's savings. No way. The bank literally just types some numbers into a computer and credits the business's account with $100,000. Poof! That money instantly enters the economy. It's going to be spent on supplies, invested in equipment, and paid out as salaries. Economic activity just spiked, powered entirely by money that was effectively created out of thin air the moment the loan was approved. Crazy, right?
And look, this is exactly why governments and central banks have to monitor lending so closely to ensure financial stability. Going back to our ship analogy, if the crew, the commercial banks, are constantly creating new money by approving endless amounts of loans, they risk totally overheating the engine and causing runaway inflation. The captain has to obsessively monitor this lending to keep the whole economic ship from capsizing.
Which brings us right into Section 4, AI in modern banking, the digital upgrade. We've looked at the massive macro-level mechanics, but now let's zoom in on the micro-level future, specifically how the banking crew is getting a massive digital upgrade. So AI in banking is basically technology that's making the entire industry faster, safer, and much smarter through hardcore automation and massive data analysis. Artificial intelligence is changing finance faster than anything we've ever seen before. It is fundamentally altering the DNA of how our money is protected and managed day to day.
There are 5 major ways AI is completely transforming the financial sector right now: fraud detection, loan approval, customer service, risk management, and personalized banking. Let's really break down how incredibly powerful these applications are on the ground. Let's start with keeping your money safe. AI fraud detection is out there monitoring millions of transactions every single second. Millions! Imagine a human trying to manually watch 10,000 credit card swipes a second. It's completely impossible. But AI, it acts as an unblinking security guard. If it spots something weird, like your card buying a coffee in New York and then trying to buy a laptop in London within the exact same hour, the system instantly blocks or flags the transaction. It secures your money at actual lightning speed.
AI is also totally rewriting the rules on the lending we talked about earlier. AI loan approval takes all the guesswork and all the human bias entirely out of the equation. It instantly crunches mountains of behavioral data. We're talking your income, your exact spending habits, your credit history, the whole shebang. It analyzes all of this in real time, meaning it can approve loans way faster while drastically reducing the bank's risk of a default.
But hey, it's not just about the bank security. It's about giving you a hyper-personalized experience too. AI customer service provides 24/7 chatbot support. You can check balances, move money, and get complex support without ever waiting on hold for a human agent. But it goes way beyond just answering questions. AI actually studies your specific user behavior. It learns exactly how you save and spend, allowing it to recommend highly tailored savings plans and investments that actually fit your life. It's honestly like having a dedicated financial advisor living right in your pocket.
Finally, we've got AI risk management. Just like the central bank monitors the overall economy, AI helps commercial banks monitor their own internal health. By predicting potential financial dangers way off on the horizon, AI helps banks dodge bad investments and steer completely clear of systemic loan defaults. It acts as an invisible, highly advanced shield, protecting the bank's own bottom line.
All right, let's bring it all together. We have journeyed from the towering institutions of central banks managing entire nations all the way down to the tiny algorithms instantly securing your everyday coffee purchase. The gears of banking are fundamentally shifting. We still rely on the push and pull of interest rates to manage our economy, but the systems executing those moves, they're getting insanely fast and brilliant. So as banking becomes fully automated and relentlessly